What? He disappeared again? But I've already focused an immense amount of inner energy into my eyes. Needle Eccentric panicked. A voice from behind spoke coldly. You're inept at martial arts, just as I thought. Needle Eccentric felt a sharp blow to the head, and everything went dark. Later, the divine doctor leaned over him. Are you awake? You received a blow to your head, so you fainted for a moment. I lost? To that brat? Needle Eccentric groaned. I cast a few restrictions just in case, the divine doctor admitted. Restrictions? There's no harm in being careful, is there? You'll always be in the palm of Master Byak's hand, though. Is that so? Ah, my head hurts. Well, I've never been rendered so speechless before. The divine doctor grinned. Since it's come down to this, I hope we'll work well together from now on, Needle Eccentric. Who said you could call me that? Stop acting so close. Well, if I didn't call you Needle Eccentric, I'd have to call you Hey. You can decide which you prefer. Needle Eccentric sighed. Ugh, let's go with Needle Eccentric. Later, Byak Taesu arrived, pleased at the sight. Ho! Seeing as you look much better now, both the divine physician and eccentric physician must live up to your reputations and skills. I heard that eccentric one wants to keep working with you too. He turned to Byak. Actually, I called you here because I have a favor to ask of you. We recently heard from the Yan Manor. They said the River Martial Alliance that represents Hubei is gathering their rising martial artists, and Lady Yeon has already received an invitation. The River Martial Alliance? Byak asked, intrigued. Yes, it seemed like it would be weird for a merchant guild to join that meeting, but the eccentric physician has also received a similar request. The Needle Eccentric? Byak raised a brow. In addition, it seems he already agreed to participate before coming here, which brings me to the point. You want me to go along with him, right? Can you do that? Byak Taesu asked, hesitating. Well, I don't see why not. I need to train him a little too. Thanks. I thought you would refuse, seeing as you aren't well. The River Martial Alliance is the strongest martial organization in Hubei. Since we're based here, we can't possibly let go of such a good opportunity. Byak's eyes gleamed. The River Martial Alliance. I'm actually lacking opponents to train with. I hope there will be decent martial artists there. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Inside the Flower Tower, the owner spoke with a grave expression. There haven't been reactions from the Golden Heavenly Alliance yet, have there? A servant bowed. There have not. It seems that they were quite taken aback by the abilities of the Golden Wall Merchant Guild, as it was out of their expectations. Well, not even we knew about their abilities, the Flower Tower owner admitted. I never expected there to be such a monster alive. Just who on earth is he? He knows about the Shadow Stride too. He issued orders. Look into the Golden Wall Merchant Guild starting from today. Pardon? The servant blinked. Start by finding out what martial arts or elixirs they've purchased recently. You must be very, very careful. Treat it like you are looking into a reputable clan. Additionally, do not go anywhere near the second young master, Byak Taesan. He paused, a sense of foreboding lingering in the room. I get a feeling that this will determine the fate of the Hao faction. So sat down quietly and began writing a letter to her mother, the words pouring out with warmth and longing. Hello, Mother. You've been well, right? I'm doing well too. I suddenly left Wuhan and embarked on a journey toward the River Martial Alliance, so I likely won't be able to contact you for a while. The River Martial Alliance. Surprising, isn't it? Even a kid like me knows how amazing that place is, and Master Byak is truly incredible. She paused for a moment, gathering her thoughts, then continued. Oh, 2 famous physicians joined us recently, and it's so strange. They seem completely helpless when they're with Master Byak. Seeing that happen is so fascinating. She recalled how, for the past few nights, the 3 of them had been going out together. No one knew exactly what they were up to, but it seemed like some kind of secretive, strange training. So noticed how much healthier Master Byak had become since they arrived, and even stranger, it felt as if those 2 old physicians had somehow grown younger too. Though he mumbles strange things to himself, like physicians are way better than courtesans. She smiled fondly at the memory, then wrote, In any case, I am living with good people without any problems. I used to feel a little lonely, but now it's like I've gained new family members. I will contact you immediately once I return to Wuhan. Please don't worry too much about me. I hope you'll stay well until then. I miss you a lot. She signed the letter softly. So. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Master Byuk was in conversation with the Flower Tower owner. His expression was unreadable as he asked, "How is the investigation going?" The Flower Tower owner stiffened, visibly nervous. "Pardon? I've already sent you all the details regarding the investigation." But Byuk cut him off, his voice calm but sharp. "I'm not talking about those. I'm asking you about the investigation into my background." The Flower Tower owner stammered, clearly caught off guard. About that." Byuk narrowed his eyes. "Why are you so surprised? Did you really think I wouldn't realize?" Panicking now, the Flower Tower owner quickly dropped to his knees. I've committed a grave sin. Please forgive me just this once." Byuk sighed. "Forget it. Get up. I was simply asking if you were done investigating." The owner scrambled to his feet, stammering. "They were being very cautious, so it still hasn't concluded. This investigation wasn't about you, but about the Golden Wall Merchant Guild." Byuk arched a brow. "What have you found about me then?" Nothing. All I'm aware of is that you know a secret. A secret I don't know about," the owner confessed. Byuk let out a thoughtful hum. That's kind of disappointing. Do you have information on the River Marshal Alliance?" "No one can beat the Hao faction when it comes to digging up information on famous organizations within the Muram," the Flower Tower owner assured him. "I'll prepare the information for you to review immediately." "Good," Byuk replied, satisfied. "Get a few decent people to follow me. I have some business with the River Marshal Alliance." The Flower Tower owner nodded hurriedly. "Yes, sir." "Also, bring me writing materials," Byuk ordered. He handed the owner something, and the man's eyes widened at the sight. "I can tell with just a quick glance. This is really the stride." Byuk gave a knowing smirk. "You're aware that's not everything, aren't you?" The Flower Tower owner trembled. Thank you." "If you're thankful, then do a better job," Byuk instructed coldly. "Show me just how useful you guys can be. Well, you should be able to become the Hao faction leader with that." The Flower Tower owner's breath hitched. "I can become the Hao faction leader?" Not far away, Byuk Taisu stood silently, deep in thought. He spoke to Gamujin beside him. "The day has come after all. I thought he was still just a young child, but it feels like it was just yesterday when he was crawling everywhere. It's kind of touching to see him getting involved in the household affairs already. While he's gotten much healthier, I still wonder about his health." Gamujin spoke with quiet confidence. "We have two of the best physicians with him right now, so please don't worry." "I know, but..." Byuk Taisu sighed, the weight of his concern still pressing on his chest. At that moment, rain began to fall, and a servant nearby groaned. "Ugh! Why is it suddenly raining?" Byuk Taisu chuckled softly. Ho, I find it ridiculous that I'm worrying, when I'm the one who sent him there. Let's go now." Yet deep down, he couldn't shake a lingering, heavy feeling. The sense that something big was about to happen. Elsewhere, in a dimly lit, hidden place, a man knelt before a figure known only as Scary. The preparations for the ritual are almost complete. The things that were given by the elder are also on standby. Scary gave a sharp nod. "Good. We'll wake them up the moment the preparations are complete. I want you to go and control them." The man bowed. "All right. I shall depart right away." As he left, Scary muttered darkly to himself. "We really got completely defeated in Wuhan. Even the Golden Heavenly Alliance, which we provided so much support to, is now useless. If we fail again this time, the Elder will personally punish us. We'll probably end up as souls that wander for eternity, never obtaining peace. When that happens, wait for a while more. I will take you out soon." The journey to the River Marshal Alliance continued steadily by land. Inside the carriage, Needle Eccentric leaned back comfortably, letting out a satisfied sigh. "This carriage is pretty comfortable," he remarked, smirking. "Seems like Master Byuk paid a lot for it." Divine Doctor, ever eager to praise, chimed in immediately. "Of course, this much is nothing for Master Byuk, don't you agree?" Needle Eccentric snorted. "You're just dishing out empty flattery." "Why are you trying to pick a fight?" Divine Doctor shot back irritably. "Was I wrong?" Needle Eccentric replied smugly. Yuseo, quietly watching the two bicker, sighed inwardly. Something terrible is bound to happen between those two eventually. Needle Eccentric switched topics, peering out of the carriage. Isn't it better to travel by water to Yichong, where the River Marshall Alliance is? Yuseo shook her head. The pirates have been pretty active recently. That's why we're going by land. Needle Eccentric grinned. I think the pirates are the ones who need to be worried about meeting us, though. I'm comfortable either way, so it doesn't matter to me, he added casually. Yuseo glanced at Cheon, who quietly nodded in agreement. Well, that's true, Cheon said. Oh, didn't Lady Yeon mention she was heading to the River Marshall Alliance too? Divine Doctor asked. Yuseo nodded. She already departed by boat. I doubt she knows we're heading there. By boat? Divine Doctor's brow furrowed. Didn't you say the pirates are active? About that, the Yan Manor has many competent warriors. Besides, Lady Yan is pretty skilled in martial arts too. There aren't many female warriors in the Yan Manor, which is why I serve her. However, she's probably way stronger than I am. Divine Doctor mused. Does she have no idea how strong she is? Well, the people she compares herself to are all monsters, Yuseo admitted. A memory flickered in her mind. Back when she was first introduced at the Yan Manor, a composed woman had stood before her. This is Seo Yan, the woman had said. She'll be serving you. Since you're around the same age, you two can just train in martial arts together. I, Yuseo Yan, pay my respects to you, Lady Yeon, she had said, bowing respectfully. Nice to meet you. I'm Yeon Harin, the other girl had responded, her expression bright and cheerful. Let's get stronger together. Cheon's voice brought her back to the present. Why is she so fired up today? He wondered aloud. A sudden cry interrupted their thoughts. Warrior Yu, are you all right? Yuseo wiped the blood from a fresh wound. I'm fine. Let's continue. Cheon looked at the wound, concern clear in his expression. That wound's pretty deep. Let's get the Divine Physician to take a look at it first. As if on cue, Divine Doctor's voice rang out cheerfully. Dinner is ready! Come get dinner! Cheon hesitated. It seems dinner is ready. Let's... Divine Doctor cut him off, his tone suddenly serious. Are you worried? Pardon? What are you talking about? Cheon asked. If you're that worried, why don't you just go and look for her? Divine Doctor suggested. Otherwise, you might regret not doing anything. I don't know what to do, Cheon confessed. I neither know what happened, nor do I know what to say. Don't overthink it, Divine Doctor advised with a sigh. You just need to express your concern for her. Someone as dull as you will just screw things up if you try to sound cool anyway. He handed Cheon something. Take this with you. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Master Byok appeared before Yuseo without a sound. That form is good, he commented. Master Byok, Yuseo stammered, caught off guard. However, Byok continued, you're filled with useless thoughts. That's why you didn't realize I was coming. If I had been an enemy, you'd be dead. But... Yuseo began, but Byok raised a hand. Empty your mind, and always keep all your senses open, he instructed. Yuseo hesitated. How many people in the world would be able to do that? Tons of them, Byok replied without missing a beat. I know at least 500 such people. If I include those I'm aware of, there would be even more. He added, well, it's not necessarily bad to live within the limits that you have set for yourself either. The limits that I have set for myself, Yuseo murmured. Cheon, observing from a distance, couldn't help but wonder aloud. Could that be the transcendent trance? The limits she had set for herself, that thought lingered in her mind. She remembered how Master Byok had taken down those enemies in a single strike, and how they had managed to defeat the Zhongli clan. Now, standing before a large rock, something seemed to be emanating from her. Kyungwon watched, wondering if this was the transcendent trance. As expected, Taesun already knew Kyungwon was nearby. He was worried about Warrior Cheol, but fortunately, nothing had happened yet. Still, it was essential for her to complete the process thoroughly. Warrior Cheol stood with her eyes closed, deep in thought. Could this truly be the transcendent trance she had only heard about before? Within her mind, she saw Kyungwon, puzzled about why he appeared in her vision. Kyungwon congratulated her on her enlightenment, and finally waking up. His distress was evident. Dark circles under his eyes, signs that he hadn't slept at all, afraid someone might disrupt her while she was in the trance. She noticed the food he had brought along in case she got hungry. It had gone cold. Feeling the care he had shown, she started to take bites. The taste was good, and she thanked him. Even that small gesture made Kyungwon happy. She then asked if he could help her stand, as her legs had gone numb. Now back in the carriage, Taesun commended her for achieving enlightenment without any incident. She expressed her thanks, crediting his guidance for it. Taesun explained the danger of entering a transcendent trance unprepared. If energy deviation occurred, it could lead not just to internal injuries, but to never waking up again. She listened carefully, taking in every word. But this time, unlike before, she wasn't alone. Someone had stayed by her side. That so-called coward had accomplished something significant today. They finally arrived in Hubei Province, Yicheng, the home of the River Marshal Alliance. Dubei was visibly excited about finally having a roof over their heads, though to Kyungwon, it didn't seem like Dubei had any trouble sleeping outdoors, given how easily he snored wherever they camped. A man greeted Byok Taesan respectfully and whispered something in his ear. So asked who that was. Dubei replied that he was from the Hao faction. Taesan then announced that the boat from Yeon Manor would be arriving in about an hour and ordered Lady Yeon's protection. So got excited, assuming Taesan was eager to see Lady Yeon quickly, but their arrival timing was purely coincidental. It had been a while since the two had met, and seeing Taesan maturing made them happy. Lady Yeon finally arrived. Warrior Cheol and Yeon were delighted to meet again after so long. Lady Yeon admitted she never thought she would be able to meet Cheol here and had missed her dearly. Holding each other's hands, there was an odd discomfort despite so many people gathered for her sake. Noticing a group standing behind Yeon, Cheol asked who they were. Yeon explained that he was Shimen clan's eldest son, Shimen Jaehak. Jaehak immediately mocked Cheol, calling her small and remarking that she was the one Yeon was so worried about. Yeon silenced them, declaring that Cheol was not only her bodyguard, but also her closest friend. Jaehak ridiculed Yeon's casual personality, claiming that getting too friendly with subordinates often made them forget their place. He pointed out how a bodyguard wandering away from her master was proof of that, and added that Cheol looked too weak to protect anyone. Yeon shouted back, saying she herself had asked Cheol to be her bodyguard. Without delay, Yeon knocked Jaehak down, assuring Cheol that she would handle things. If not, she joked, they might just beat her to death. Later, the two of them sat together on a small staircase as the sun began to set. Cheol asked if Lady Yeon was all right, and she smiled softly, saying it didn't hurt much. Cheol then questioned why Yeon had gone out of her way to help her. With teary eyes and a smiling face, Yeon answered simply, because she wanted to be friends. As the moment passed, they noticed Jaehak and the others lingering nearby. They asked what they were doing, and the men replied that they had some business nearby. Their eyes met, a fiery, intense eye contact between Byok Taesan and Shimen Jaehak. Jaehak's voice was sharp, cutting through the evening air, his eyes filled with suspicion. Are you the former fiancé of Lady Yeon? Byok Taesan? Taesan's gaze was unbothered, raising an eyebrow. Former? He asked, turning to Yeon. Did we break off our engagement, Yeon? Yeon flushed slightly but stood her ground. Of course not, she replied firmly. With a smirk, Taesan turned back to Jaehak. Well, that's what she says. And you? Who are you and why are you traveling with my fiancé? Yeon swiftly interjected, her voice calm and reassuring. They're all from respectable clans. We're headed to the gathering where the next generation's brightest gather. My father insisted we travel together for safety. There's nothing more to it. Taesan nodded, considering the words for a moment before giving his verdict. I see. Well then, how about joining me at my accommodation for the night? After all, you are my fiancé. Yeon hesitated briefly, her gaze flickering to the ground before looking back up at Taesan with a gentle smile. Sure, your accommodation sounds good. With that, they left, Jaehak's growing frustration palpable in the air as he watched them walk away. Jaehak muttered under his breath, That arrogant brat? One of his servants, sensing the tension, spoke up hesitantly. What do you intend to do now, young master? We need to secure accommodations, Jaehak snapped, still seething with irritation. His thoughts, however, were on Yeon. She didn't smile once during the entire journey, yet she's capable of showing such warmth to him? Well, no matter. She will marry me, not some nobody like him. Later, Taesan and Yeon found themselves walking through a beautifully serene courtyard, lanterns casting soft glows along the stone path. Yeon, still unsure of the situation, occasionally glanced toward him, her expression a mix of curiosity and caution. Taesan, his mind deep in thought, considered her. Why is this person so focused on me? Did we have some connection in the past? There's something about her. She reminds me of someone from long ago. A vague memory lingered, a voice echoing faintly in his mind. You will do it. You'll definitely reach the level of a supreme one. Supreme one. I love you. But the thought was quickly pushed aside as they continued walking. At the River Marshall Alliance compound, Dubé marveled at the sprawling size of the place. This place is bigger than I imagined. It's like half the size of the Murim Alliance. They call themselves the Hubei Alliance, but it's basically a mini Murim Alliance. Taesan, ever the observer, nodded in agreement, his gaze sweeping over the grounds. Not bad, he muttered. So-so, caught up in the grandness of it all, couldn't contain her excitement. Master Byok, this place is huge. A local official approached them, bowing with respect. I've been instructed to make sure you are well taken care of. There are important guests visiting. Dubé laughed heartily, puffing up with pride. Ah ha ha, my fame must have spread even here. It's exhausting being so popular. Another member of their group rolled their eyes, unimpressed. Don't flatter yourself. It's not about you. Taesan raised a hand, silencing them. I'm not interested in your bickering. I want to find good physicians. This city is large. There must be skilled ones here. Dubé raised an eyebrow, confused. But you already have two of the best physicians with you. Why are you looking for more? I've drained too much from both of you, Taesan explained calmly. The results are starting to wane. Oh, that's true, Dubé murmured. But where will we find these physicians on such short notice? The other physician, after a beat of silence, shrugged. I don't know any clinics here. Dubé's eyes lit up as an idea struck him. I've got it. Let's just visit all the clinics in the area. We'll find the decent ones and bring them back for house calls. The other physician rolled his eyes. You really think that'll work? I'm smarter than you look, Dubé replied with a sly grin. They agreed that whoever could provide the best service to Master Byok would win. The stakes were high, and neither would back down. As night fell, they continued their search. Dubé's face fell as he noticed the physician's lack of distress. Why does it seem like none of them are in pain? Now that you mention it, the other physician murmured. Normally they'd be screaming. Both of them exchanged a look of concern. Could this have something to do with Master Byok? Taesan's voice emerged from the shadows, almost mocking. Why didn't you walk without making a sound? The two physicians jumped, startled. Take them away, Taesan ordered coldly. They're useless. Each of you bring me another one tomorrow. Every day? They protested. Yes, every single day, he said, his tone unyielding. Dubé, ever the opportunist, grinned. Of course, Master. The physician hesitated before asking, May I inquire, Master Byok, which physician did you find most suitable today? Taesan raised an eyebrow. Why do you ask? It's for the bet, the physician said quietly. Taesan smirked, his tone dripping with sarcasm. Ah, of course this is about your bet. Fine, I'll decide after seeing all the physicians you bring. Dubé, his voice barely audible, murmured to himself, The one needle art will soon be mine. What did you say? The physician shot back. But Taesan was already lost in thought, weighing the potential of each soul he encountered. The efficacy of the treatments has diminished. I must find those with pure, untarnished souls. Those are the ones that will heal me most effectively. Just then, So-So approached, her voice gentle. Master Byok, it's me. Taesan smiled, a rare expression of warmth crossing his face. You'll feel no pain. Don't worry. Meanwhile, the other physician grumbled under his breath. How much longer do we have to walk? The elder beside him wheezed in reply. We're almost there. These ones are young, only about 10 years ripe. The ones that are truly powerful will be farther in. Those ones, they can even challenge top elders. As they neared their destination, the elder chuckled. They'll be useful. Just wait. At Seodagun's residence, the souls that were sealed in bottles had almost completely entered the bodies. Someone questioned if this meant those people had become half Zhongshi, but the response came quickly. They were different. Half Zhongshi were living people crippled due to poison, while these were made by infusing corpse energy into them. That meant their original souls still existed, so they weren't like Zhongshi. They could move to a certain extent by their own will and even use martial arts. Still, in that state, it was better to be dead than alive. The process involved infusing souls of others into those corpses, essentially bringing them back to life. A concern was raised. How could people brought back to life be controlled? They would hardly be easy to manage. It was explained that a secret technique known only to the elders of the Hyukyun clan was being used. Some kind of sorcery had been placed on their souls, and those revived would likely understand it best. After all, they were now serving the Hyukyun clan with utmost loyalty. The ritual was now reaching its final stage. At that moment, Baek Liob, leader of the River Marshall Alliance, arrived. He was welcomed with reverence as a famous figure in Murim. He humbly declined the title of ruler, saying he was just one of the workers. He invited the guests to take a seat. People murmured about Baek Liob's extraordinary presence. He asked if it was true the two physicians were staying at the Golden Wall Merchant Guild. They confirmed it. He admitted finding it unexpected. With their reputations, many influential groups were trying to hire them. One had been contacted by the Namgunj and Jagal clans, while the other had been approached by the Muram Alliance and the Black Alliance. Beck Liob found it impressive, the Muram Alliance and Black Alliance. It made him more curious why they chose to work for the Golden Wall Merchant Guild. One replied that he had simply found someone who saw his true value, though he would never admit he had been threatened. The other explained it was because he lost a bet. A bet? Beck Liob asked. The man clarified. Well, it wasn't really just because of the bet anymore. Beck Liob deduced the truth. They weren't working for the Golden Wall Merchant Guild itself, but for the second son of the guild. They confirmed this. Beck Liob realized they were truly coveted talents. If he could recruit them, the River Martial Alliance could rule the world. He vowed to meet this second son, Bayuk Tasan, at any cost. Meanwhile, someone woke up, confused. Was this their room? They remembered being with Master Bayuk. It had been a warm, peaceful dream. The warmth of his touch lingered in memory. But there was no time to lie around. They had overslept. Light was coming from Master Bayuk's room. What was happening? The spirit energy inside was pure and powerful. When Soso's soul was extracted, it had felt completely different from anything before. It felt like both body and soul were stabilizing. If previous attempts were like scrambling to connect meridians for survival, this time it was as if those meridians were being strengthened and solidified. There was always something new to learn about the soul-augmenting demonic art. The last treatment had been crucial, for the sake of obtaining a complete body. And now, there was peace. Elsewhere, people gossiped. So she really did come to Yichang. She was extremely beautiful. It was noted that Master Bayuk had stayed in his room for 2 days. Lady Yan was asked if she was still thinking about Master Bayuk. She didn't need to worry. He was likely consolidating everything he'd learned during his enlightenment. Enlightenment? As in a transcendent trance? Yes. One person admitted they had experienced it recently, thanks to him. What? You experienced it? Yes, only thanks to his help. That's amazing. No wonder you seem stronger than before. I need to become stronger too. At that moment, a group approached. One of them, noticing Lady Yan without her fiancé, asked what she was doing there. Greetings, she replied. He saw this as an opportunity. He invited her for a drink, claiming to have a quiet place in mind. He teased. Was she hesitating because of her merchant fiancé? Merchants weren't suitable for someone like her. Lady Yeon declined, saying she wasn't feeling well. He insisted. Didn't people say liquor could cure any sickness? He urged her not to be a spoilsport and have just one glass. Reluctantly, she agreed to go, but then someone stopped them. What did you just say? The speaker warned it wasn't a good look for him to act that way towards someone with a fiancé. The man scoffed. A mere bodyguard like you? He asked if the man knew which clan he belonged to. I don't know, but judging by your behavior, it probably isn't anything great. Someone whispered. Seoyeon, the man revealed his identity. He was Shimen Jehak, successor to the Shimen clan. He asked if they thought a mere bodyguard could handle him. The others gasped. The Shimen clan, he pressed again. Do you think you can handle me? But then another voice cut in. What about you then? Do you think you can handle me? Everyone turned. Who was this person? Was he the one from the Golden Wall Merchant Guild everyone had been talking about? He was quite handsome. Master Byok. Addressing Jehak, he asked, was he the one making all this noise? A sharp, unfamiliar sensation coursed through his body as consciousness returned. The man's vision slowly cleared, a dimly lit room coming into focus. His senses felt different, heavier, and oddly enhanced. Confusion clung to him like mist. Where am I? I'm certain I died. My body feels different. No, it has changed, he thought to himself, examining his limbs, his skin, his aura. Nothing felt the same as before. A voice cut through his thoughts. Guangdong Demon, you're awake. The man turned toward the speaker, his expression guarded. A stranger stood nearby, a tall, wiry man with a self-satisfied smirk and narrow, watchful eyes. Who are you? He asked, his voice low and wary. I'm Seo Dagoon. The man introduced himself smoothly. You guys have been saved by Elder Hyakrai and Big Wang. It's time to serve him. The name sounded alien yet oppressive, carrying weight and menace. He repeated it, tasting the words. Yuck, Ryan, Big Wang. A flicker of contempt crossed his face as he scoffed. You're nothing but a man who looks like a pimp. Seo Dagoon's grin widened, as if he found the insult amusing rather than offensive. This is great, he said, stepping closer. I've been looking for you. Looking for me? Guangdong Demon raised a brow. Yes, you, Seo Dagoon confirmed, his voice sharp. How long do you intend to burden Lady Yeon? Burdening her? The words hung in the air, alien to his own understanding of their situation. Yes! Seo Dogun snapped, his frustration leaking through. You're basically a nobody in the Golden Wall Merchant Guild. How dare you even obsess over her? I am obsessed with Yeon Heron? If you aren't, Seo Dagoon challenged, why hasn't your engagement been broken? You need to let her go quickly so she can look for a good marriage. And you're claiming she'd be looking for you? The Guangdong Demon shot back coolly, already tiring of the petty jealousy. Seo Dagoon's face darkened, but the Guangdong Demon continued. Looks like words aren't working on you. The mere likes of the Golden Wall Merchant Guild dare to mock the Shimen clan? His opponent stiffened. Why are you suddenly bringing up your clan? Is it because you'd just be a loser without your clan? A heavy silence passed between them, taut with tension. I've had enough, Guangdong Demon declared, rising to his feet. Let's go out! Seo Dagoon sneered. When are you going to attack me? I'm kind of looking forward to this. Looking forward to this? Seo Dagoon scoffed. Have you gone crazy from being too scared? A faint smile tugged at the corner of Guangdong Demon's lips. I've attained some enlightenment in the last few days, he confessed. I actually need someone to test it on. Ha! Seo Dagoon laughed, relishing the moment. Well, I am really looking forward to it too. They clashed. A sharp yell, a burst of energy, a violent collision. Gah! A heartbeat later, Seo Dagoon crumpled, his eyes wide with disbelief. Impossible. Cuckoo, you coward, he wheezed, staggering to his feet. How dare you attack me when my guard is down? This isn't over yet. It's not, Guangdong Demon taunted, his tone cold. Yes, come at me again. I won't let you off this time. Seo Dagoon launched himself forward, fury blazing in his eyes. I have no idea what trick he pulled, he thought furiously, but this time around, I'll show him the true essence of the Shimen clan's martial arts. He wasn't ready. A flurry of strikes left him battered, gasping for air. This is far from the end, he snarled. I haven't even gotten started yet, Guangdong Demon replied. The fight was swift and brutal. Ah! Seo Dogun screamed, collapsing in a heap. Gotcha, asshole, Guangdong Demon muttered. Moments later, Seo Dogun began to stir, groaning in pain. Oh, you're awake? A voice asked mockingly. I can't speak. Seo Dagoon realized, horror dawning in his eyes. I've discovered something interesting thanks to you guys, the man said casually. Now then, time to confirm it once more. A alliance leader? Someone stammered nearby, as a new figure entered the scene. What is the alliance leader doing here? Another whispered in disbelief. The room seemed to constrict under the weight of the man's presence. I came here because I wanted to meet Bayok Taesun, the alliance leader announced. Where on earth is he? He scanned the room, eyes settling on one figure. Oh, there he is. Do you know who I am? The man he addressed blinked slowly, examining the leader's face. I think I've seen you somewhere before. Gasps echoed from those gathered. Is he seriously saying that to the alliance leader? Does he really not know who the alliance leader is? You've seen me before? The leader asked. Ah, the man's expression cleared. I remember now. It was probably during a negotiation with the Murim Alliance decades ago. Back then, he was a young boy who could withstand my aura. He had quite a strong will despite lacking in skill then. The River Marshal Alliance leader, he has made it quite far. A heavy silence filled the room. Looks like I'll be nagged at by the administrator today, the man muttered. I need to talk to you, the Alliance leader said firmly. Something like that. Should be done by someone who wants to talk to you. I came here intending to talk to everyone today. You're first on the list. I don't need to talk to you. You may move on to the next person. You over there. He pointed. Me? A young warrior stammered. Yes. You have been chosen. I've been chosen? The young man's face paled. You have the chance to talk to the strongest person in the River Marshal Alliance, someone whispered. A murmur ran through the group. Oh, he's full of guts. He has a chance to build a relationship with me, but he's throwing it away? Even though he is in the rising generation? I would understand if he was the Murim Alliance leader. Though, something feels off. If he was still just the young boy from the past, I would have beaten him up if he had tried to scold me. But things would get complicated if I beat up the River Marshal Alliance leader now. And then, a dense mist began to curl through the area. "Why is the fog so thick?" someone muttered, unease prickling their skin. "Hey, we need to work quickly if we want to deliver the order to the River Marshal Alliance in a few days," a senior ordered. "Why is the person who went to ask for an extension not back yet? Damn it, we're short-handed as it is. What are you doing?" A sudden terrible noise carried through the mist. What is that?" someone asked, dread thick in their voice. "Whoa, what are those?" a trembling voice whispered, barely audible amidst the eerie growls surrounding them. Are they humans?" Panic spread like wildfire through the crowd. "Run!" A monstrous snarl tore through the night. "Grrr! Damn it, there's no way out!" someone cursed, voice shaking. And then, a glimmer of desperate hope. Amidst the chaos, a lone figure's gaze fell upon something moving through the shadows. "Though, that horse is still alive!" A spark of determination flared in his chest. "If I can somehow get to it, I have a chance at surviving." His pulse thundered in his ears. "Is this my chance? I need to make it." He bolted. Every nerve screamed, every breath burned, but his legs didn't stop. "I did it!" he gasped, chest heaving. "I just need to pass that door." But then, another growl. "Grrr!" A figure lay crumpled near the entrance. "Elder," he whispered. The crest of the River Marshal Alliance lay shattered in the mud. He clenched his fists, pain momentarily eclipsing fear. I think I understood a little more now. Elsewhere, a calm but cold voice echoed in the gloom. "After extracting 3 souls, I discovered a new effect of the soul-augmenting demonic art," the speaker murmured, a faint gleam in his eye. The room around him shimmered with residual soul energy, twisted and ethereal. "After extracting their souls and slowly purifying them to the best of my abilities, a lot of thoughts flowed into my mind." He paused, lips curling slightly. "Their soul energies are nowhere nearly as good as those of the physicians, but it seems that was the key that allowed me to extract the information hidden within them." His voice grew softer, awed. "Soul-augmenting demonic art. The more I discover about this art, the more I realize how incredible it is." At that moment, footsteps approached. "Master Byok," a man spoke, bowing respectfully. "We've brought the physicians." Master Byok didn't speak immediately. Another voice cut in, eager. What do you think? The physicians I've brought are way better, right?" One of the onlookers sighed. "There he goes again, acting like he's better." But Byok remained impassive, weighing them both. "They're very similar. This is a draw." What? The eager man cried, scandalized. Byok raised an eyebrow. "If you really want my opinion, both your standards have dropped and both of you have failed." What? The shock was palpable. Byok's gaze hardened. "Therefore, the two of you have to fulfill your end of the bet for losing." Pardon? That's ridiculous." A flicker of amusement crossed Byok's face. "Really?" His tone dropped, deadly serious. "I'll keep checking on you, and you'd better be prepared for what comes next if you dare make a bet without my knowledge again." The silence that followed was suffocating. Just then, another report arrived. "Alliance leader, the Black Iron Smithy has disappeared." They stiffened. "They have disappeared? They aren't just objects. How could they disappear? Speak clearly." "It's just as I said. We sent people there because there was no news from them. Even though it was well past the time for us to make payment, all that remains are the manor and the pavilion. Not a single person nor a single item remains to be seen." "They've all disappeared?" the leader echoed, frowning. "Why would they do that when they're supposed to receive money?" "I can't be sure, but it seems they were attacked by external forces. Additionally, a plague has coincidentally started spreading near that area." "A plague?" the leader muttered, eyes narrowing. "We need to investigate that to see if these two incidents are related." He gave the order crisply. "I want you to request help from both the Needle Eccentric and the Dubhe Divine Physician." "Request help from the two of them?" "We need to take this chance to build a relationship with them. We'll use this as an excuse to reward them handsomely." He added after a pause, "Oh, and Byok Tayson as well. Ask him for help too." "Byok Tayson? You mean the second young master of the Golden Wall Merchant Guild?" "Yes, him. If he makes any requests, fulfill them all." "But yes, sir." A shadow of a smile crossed the leader's face. "Byok Tayson. I sensed an aura of a martial master from him. Let's see how he does this time." Moments later, Byok Tayson stood amid the ruins. "There's a scent of blood," he murmured. "Pardon? I don't smell anything, though," one of his companions stammered. It's not a scent you can pick up with just your nose, Byok Taeson replied quietly, his voice low and grim. His eyes swept the carnage. Everyone who was in this place is dead. The others stiffened. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm certain that more than 100 have died. That many people died? Someone whispered, horror-struck. Byok's gaze remained steady. Do you know anything about poison? Poison? I do know quite a bit about them. What about in comparison to the poison demon? A heavy silence followed. No one would be able to beat the poison demon in terms of knowledge regarding poison. Though, what's the matter? Byok's expression darkened. The poison smells like the one frequently used by the poison demon. The poison demon's poison? Are you saying the poison demon killed them all? No idea, Byok answered flatly. I'll need you guys to look into that. He hesitated, eyes narrowing as if sensing something beyond human perception. However, amidst the scent of blood and poison, there's something oddly disturbing mixed in. His voice lowered further. I want you to find that out while you're looking into the poison too. Yes, sir. One of the physicians murmured. Something oddly disturbing? Byok didn't elaborate. Why in the world do I sense energy similar to the soul-augmenting demonic art in this place? The atmosphere within the Alliance headquarters was thick with tension. The air seemed heavy, as though something sinister lurked just out of reach. The subordinate, clearly anxious, approached the Alliance leader with a hurried step and a strained voice. The leader, however, appeared composed and serene, greeting him with a gentle smile, and his hands clasped leisurely behind his back. Despite the brewing unease, he maintained a facade of calm authority. Even amidst the flurry of responsibilities he shouldered, the Alliance leader reminded the subordinate that there were matters he simply could not afford to neglect, such as the personal requests he had made to the council members. More importantly, he had arrived to ask yet another favor. The subordinate, swallowing nervously, quickly guessed the nature of the request. He suspected the leader was about to demand an investigation into the residents of the surrounding area. His assumption was met with mild surprise and a faint chuckle from the Alliance leader, who confirmed it with ease. The subordinate wasted no time in reporting their findings. Under Master Byok's orders, they had uncovered unmistakable traces of poison in the vicinity. Worse yet, its effects had already begun to seep into the surrounding regions, threatening lives silently and swiftly. At this revelation, the Alliance leader's composed expression darkened. The word poison struck a note of disquiet in his heart. Was it not a plague they had feared? Memories stirred in the back of his mind, shadows of a time long past. Byok Taeson, now recalling his former life as the Heavenly Demon, knew that scent all too well. It had been years since he last practiced the Heavenly Earth Stride, but the distinct fragrance of that poison lingered in his memory. It was the same foul concoction once used by the Poison Demon, a memory dating back 3 years before his death as the Heavenly Demon. He remembered the Poison Demon's arrogance then, a man who thought himself untouchable, flaunting his deadly art. But Byok Taeson had possessed the soul-augmenting demonic art, a technique that could incinerate both body and soul, rendering poisons like the 11 poisons utterly useless. Back then, the Poison Demon had begged for his life, offering to reveal a new poison recipe each day as a bargaining chip. It had been amusing then, but now, the sudden appearance of such a poison raised unsettling questions. What had become of that wretch? His ruminations were interrupted by a subordinate arriving with urgent news. The investigation regarding the poison had been completed, and an antidote was ready for immediate use. Byok Taeson instructed them to prepare it in large quantities, warning that a greater need would soon arise. But then came the part that truly piqued his interest. Another subordinate reported something odd. The poison, while certainly deadly, was unrefined, crude, and incomplete. If it had been crafted with proper technique, the entire city of Yicheng might already have fallen. Furthermore, its effects weren't meant to kill swiftly. Rather, it was designed to drain vital energy and impede the body's natural recovery, leaving victims alive but hollow, mere shells of themselves. Byok Taeson immediately connected this to an unsettling memory. Could this be linked to the same sinister force that had once tried to capture the soul's energy? A deeper mystery loomed. Without delay, he decided it was time to consult the Hao faction, whose information network might shed light on this ominous development. Summoning Cheon Kyung-gwan, Byok Taeson prepared to leave. Cheon Kyung-gwan, though obedient, was visibly confused when told they were heading to the Golden Jade House, the largest brothel in Yicheng. The young man, knowing of Byok Taeson's involvement with Lady Yeon, was both baffled and embarrassed by the destination. But Byok Taeson, with his characteristic indifference, brushed off the concern. Lady Yeon's reaction was cold, though unsurprising. She told him, as she had before, to do whatever pleased him, and walked away with a tight, unreadable expression. Cheon Kyungwan muttered under his breath, frustrated by the chaotic and exhausting circumstances, lamenting how he'd never had to tend more than a single patient a day before now. Meanwhile, Divine Physician and Needle Eccentric exchanged weary banter about the overwhelming workload. The Divine Physician spoke of his grueling days treating 100 patients, only to be one-upped by Needle Eccentric's boast of handling 200 in a day. Their banter, though light, carried the fatigue of men bracing for an unending night. Their conversation turned toward the subject of Master Byok himself. There was something unsettling about the man, something neither could fully grasp. Needle Eccentric admitted to having met someone like him before, someone from the Heavenly Demon's sacred cult. The very mention of it sent a chill down the Divine Physician's spine, making him regret his curiosity. Before they could dwell on it, a heavy fog began to descend. It wasn't natural, and both men instinctively sensed danger in the thickening mist. Their shoulders sagged as they exchanged grim looks, knowing instinctively what it meant. There would be no rest tonight. The long night had only just begun. An ominous tension hung heavy in the air as the situation inside the medicine hall grew increasingly dire. Someone's voice cut through the chaos, sharp and urgent, ordering for everyone to be brought into the medicine hall for safety at once. There was no time to hesitate. The urgency in his voice brooked no argument. A subordinate blinked, confused, and stammered a questioning, "Pardon?" but was met with a sharp command. There was no time to waste. Swiftly, he was told to gather the martial artists from the River Martial Alliance and bring them over immediately. Time was slipping through their fingers. Lady Yeon, who had been observing the scene with unreadable eyes, was told they needed to leave. Though initially hesitant, she gave a small, resigned nod. "All right," she replied, her voice low but steady. As the scene unfolded with escalating tension, one of the subordinates called out for Master Byok. There was a note of uncertainty in his tone, almost as though he wondered if he should have been the one to go searching for him instead. The man, now visibly uneasy, apologized, explaining that they hadn't expected Master Byok to come in person. Their original plan had been to deal with the local thugs quietly and then report back. His mistake was clear in his expression, and he could hardly meet Byok Taeson's gaze. Byok's words were sharp and unforgiving. He ordered the man to do his job properly, making it clear that he didn't tolerate disappointment. The subordinate, recognizing the gravity of the moment, stiffened and acknowledged the rebuke, swearing to carry out his duties with precision. Then came a more surprising development. Another figure arrived, unannounced. Byok asked him what business brought him all the way to Yichang. The newcomer explained that there had been suspicious activity around the River Martial Alliance of late. He had come to offer direct assistance and, more importantly, to investigate the Black Iron Clan together with this very location, the Yichang branch of the Hao faction, which operated under the disguise of the Golden Jade House. Before they could unpack that information, a messenger hurriedly arrived with an urgent message. It was addressed to Lady Yeon. When she was told of the message's arrival, she ordered him to be let in immediately. The messenger wasted no time delivering his report. The Divine Physician and Needle Eccentric had apparently sent word, requesting her presence. It was something urgent, they said. The message puzzled Byok Taeson. Why would those two call for him? He asked where they were now, only to be told they were staying at a small inn nearby. That too raised an eyebrow. Shouldn't they have been tending to the sick? When questioned about this, the messenger explained that the circumstances were apparently special and offered to escort him there at once. But Byok was no fool. He sensed something amiss. Narrowing his eyes, he asked how the messenger had known where to find him, given that his whereabouts had not been disclosed to anyone. The man faltered, stammering, unable to offer a clear explanation. He muttered that they had found out through other means, a vague and suspicious claim. Without hesitation, Byok Taeson ordered Cheon Kyungwan to subdue the messenger. Cheon obeyed instantly, moving with lethal efficiency. The man cried out in alarm, demanding to know what they were doing, protesting that he was a martial artist from the River Martial Alliance. But Byok's sharp intuition told him otherwise. He addressed the group, pointing out several things that didn't add up. The most glaring of which was the man's claim that the Divine Physician and Needle Eccentric had personally requested Byok's presence. Such a thing would never happen unless those two men had completely taken leave of their senses or had a death wish. The revelation sent a chill through the group. Byok ordered his men to send someone to the River Martial Alliance to investigate the inn nearby and to take the captive along for questioning. The supposed messenger struggled and cursed, demanding to be released, but his fate was already sealed. Whether it was a trap or not remained to be seen, but one thing was clear: sinister forces were at work behind the scenes. Byok turned to another of his men, instructing him to accompany him in person to track down the Divine Physician and Needle Eccentric. The situation was growing increasingly precarious. He could neither send out his people carelessly nor afford to attempt an escape. But what puzzled him most was the peculiar familiarity he felt towards these enemies. There was something about them that gnawed at the edges of his memory. His musings were interrupted when an enemy emerged, suggesting they put down their weapons and talk, claiming that all he sought was a conversation with the physician inside. The proposal was met with immediate scorn. The defenders sneered, pointing out the obvious bloodlust radiating from the strangers behind him. No sane man would fall for such a feeble ploy. They demanded the speaker get rid of his dangerous-looking companions if he truly sought peace. As the group scrutinized their would-be attackers, an unsettling observation came to light. There was something off about these men. They seemed neither entirely dead nor fully alive. It was as if both death and life energies coexisted within them. Unnatural, unsettling. Someone blurted out that they resembled Zhang Shi, but it wasn't quite that simple. Another voice hesitated, recalling that they might be connected to their cult, only to hurriedly correct himself mid-sentence, leaving more questions than answers. There was no time to dwell on it. They swiftly assessed that the creature's weak point was likely at the intersection where those two conflicting energies met, though certainty was elusive. Fortunately, one among them confirmed that he could see that point. There was no room for debate or further questioning. Battle was inevitable. The man who had asked for a conversation finally stepped forward, declaring that he had waited while they discussed, but now he made his offer clear. If they wished to side with him and his faction, they were welcome at any time, promising them rewards beyond their imagination. The defenders scoffed at the absurdity. To arrive with bloodthirsty killers in tow and then speak of negotiations was either foolish or insulting. It was impossible to believe anyone would fall for such an obvious trap. As expected, violence erupted moments later. The foes lunged, grotesque growls filling the air. Byok-tae-sun understood in an instant that he couldn't protect everyone. He urged those around him to fight for their lives. Survival was all that mattered now. Each man and woman would have to fend for themselves as best they could. The clash was brutal. Blood sprayed, weapons clashed, and inhuman roars echoed. Desperation filled the hearts of the defenders as they realized the horrifying truth. These were no ordinary enemies. These were monsters. One of the fighters called out to Dubé, panicking at the ceaseless wave of foes. There had to be something they could do. But Dubé barked back, thinking furiously and begging not to be rushed. Another surge of enemies came at them, forcing everyone into a defensive retreat. Despite their efforts, cutting down weak points as planned, the enemy numbers seemed endless. Frustration mounted. If only Master Byok or even Cheon Kyungwon were there, perhaps things would be different. Fear tightened its grip around one of the defenders as a creature drew too close. Dread consumed him, and in a desperate plea, he cried out for Master Byok to save him. At that very moment, a figure appeared. Perhaps salvation had arrived. Thanks, Doobie panted, her body trembling from fatigue as she barely managed to keep herself upright amidst the chaos. Suddenly, a familiar voice cut through the air. Divine Physician, Lady Yeon, are you both all right? So this is where you were. It was one of their own, face pale, eyes wide in alarm. I've evacuated everyone into the inner chamber just as you instructed, but I don't know how long we'll be able to hold out for. His words hung heavy in the thick air, saturated with the scent of blood and death. Around them, the creatures kept closing in. Doobie's breath caught as she glanced at the twisted figures. Though, what are these things? They don't seem human, another murmured. Lady Yeon grimly shook her head. I'm not entirely sure yet, but judging by their energy patterns and the way death and life swirl within them, I think they're half-living Zhang Shi. Gasps rippled through the group. Half-living Zhang Shi? What does that even mean? Someone stammered. There's no time to explain, Yeon snapped, her voice tight but steady. Listen carefully. In order to kill them, you either behead them or pierce their gate of origin pressure point. The gate of origin pressure point? One of the martial artists echoed, confused. It's their lower energy core, Yeon clarified quickly, her gaze sharp as steel. Aim for it. There was no time for questions. The next moment, another surge of monsters charged. Doobie gritted her teeth and stepped forward. You've always protected me, Lady Yeon, she said softly, a faint smile tugging at her lips. This time, it's my turn to protect you. The battle raged on endlessly. Blades clashed, blood sprayed, and the grotesque half-dead creatures shrieked with otherworldly fury. Phew, this is endless, Doobie muttered under her breath, wiping the sweat and blood from her brow. A sudden burst of pain surged through her chest. Cool. She staggered back. Damn it. Did I use too much of my eternal energy? Beside her, a companion shouted, Hey, we should find a chance to escape. How can we do that with the enemy blocking every way out? Another countered. I have one hidden move left, one martial artist spoke up grimly. But it's a gamble. Once I use it, take that chance to run. You want me to run away alone? Dubé snapped, eyes fierce. You're the fastest amongst us, aren't you? He replied with a weary grin. But, besides, he added with a glimmer of pride in his eyes, the protagonist always stays until the end. For a moment, Dubé hesitated, then slowly nodded. Go find Master Bayok, the man urged. A howl of rage erupted from the monsters. You bastards! Take this! The martial artist roared, unleashing a final desperate technique that sent a blinding wave of light crashing into the horde. Grah! A wave of twisted bodies fell. Hoo! I was worried it wouldn't work. The man chuckled weakly, staggering. Thank goodness it did! Now's your chance! He shouted over his shoulder. I'll hold the ones following you. Keep moving! You should have used it earlier, Dubé grumbled. Stay alive, he called out with a grin. I'm the older brother, remember? Come on, run now! Another feral shriek filled the night. Grah! A sudden blinding light burst forth. Coo! What's that light? Someone yelled. Fuck! Just die already, you monsters! Another martial artist roared, slashing down. Yet the beast kept coming. Blood-soaked and exhausted, the defenders fought on. Lady Yawn! Dubé cried out as her companion stumbled, blood pouring from a fresh wound. I'm fine, Yawn gasped. We need to stop the bleeding. Grah! There's still that many of them left? Dubé's voice cracked, despair clawing at the edges of her resolve. More howls. More monsters. Yawn looked at Dubé, her face softening amidst the blood and ruin. Earlier, I lashed out at Master Bayok. Pardon? I want to see him one last time, Yawn admitted quietly. Lady Yawn? Still, she said, a small sad smile curling her lips. I'm glad I'm here with a friend. Dubé's throat tightened. The hopelessness of the situation pressed down on them, yet something old and familiar sparked in her heart. This is just like the time. Yes. If I'm with a friend, I'll keep fighting until the very end. A new wave of terror fell upon them. No way. Why are there so many half-dead people everywhere? Then, a voice cut through the despair. Master Bayok! Dubé's head snapped up. Relief flooded her chest. There, standing amidst the storm of monsters, was Master Bayok. You finally arrived! Dubé shouted, barely believing her eyes. The seasoned warrior's gaze swept over the battlefield, taking in the carnage. I didn't expect this to be this bad, he muttered. He reached deep within himself, power gathering around him like a storm. I don't have a choice then, he murmured. Suddenly, a massive burst of energy exploded outward. Light tore through the darkness. What is that? Someone gasped. He unleashed his latent power. He's given up being human, a voice whispered in awe and fear. But another noticed something else. That's not all. That guy, what in the world is attached to his soul? And as the storm of power consumed the battlefield, a new chapter of the war between life and death was about to begin. To be continued. We'll cover the next story very soon. Stay tuned. If you like the story, let me know in the comments.